قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, today we'll be learning 10 lessons of Juz 16. Let's go to our first lesson.
أما السفينة فكانت لمساكين يعملون في البحر فأردت أن أعيبها وكان وراءهم ملك يأخذ كل سفينة غصبا.
The first lesson we get from this juz is to be content with divine fate. Yes, a believer always tries to be content with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has planned for him and for the mu'mineen. A believer is always content with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has planned for him, as he knows it will be in his best interest, whether it be a loss of a dear one or loss of money or status. Therefore, we should try our best and leave the rest on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This doesn't mean that a person sits at home and waits for his sustenance and thinks and says that, okay, if Allah has written, it should reach him. No, we should try our best and then leave the rest on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whatever is written in the destiny or in the fate, one should be agreeing upon that, and he should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that.
قال ما مكني فيه ربي خير فأعينوني بقوة أجعل بينكم وبينهم ردما.
The second lesson we learn from this juz is support our leader against enemy. Yes, a believer always stands firm with the leader and supports him against the enemy, because he knows that if he stands and supports the leader, he can defeat the enemy. As our great leaders such as Sayyid Ali Khamenei and Sayyid Ali Sistani, we have these great personalities and our leaders. Therefore, we should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and always follow them to stay away from enemy's evil plan.
وإني خفت الموالي من ورائي وكانت امرأتي عاقرا فهب لي من لدنك وليا.
The third message we get from this juz is the significance of children for a believer. Children are not burden, rather they are a means to better our hereafter. Prophet Zakaria alayhi salam prayed to have an offspring who will inherit his knowledge and be prophet after him. Therefore, we know that pious children are a source of hope for parents both in this world and in the hereafter. Therefore, we should try to do good tarbiyah. We can provide good environment at our house. So inshallah, hoping that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us in doing a good tarbiyah of our children.
قالت إني أعوذ بالرحمن منك إن كنت تقيا.
The fourth message we get from this juz is Lady Maryam's modesty. When angel came towards Bibi Maryam in the form of a human, she said, I seek the protection of the All-Beneficent from you. This is a clear message for men and women who are non-mahram to each other to stay within Islamic boundaries. We learn that modesty shown by Bibi Maryam and the other great personalities we find in the history. It is narrated that on the day of judgment, a beautiful woman who had committed a sin will tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, Allah, you made me beautiful and that is why I committed the sin. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring Bibi Maryam and tell that woman and ask that woman that, are you beautiful or Bibi Maryam is more beautiful than you? Allah will say, I created Maryam beautiful. She guarded her modesty while being beautiful. Therefore, it is compulsory on the ladies to have that modesty like Bibi Maryam salamullah alayha.
وجعلني مباركا أينما كنت وأوصاني بالصلاة والزكاة ما دمت حيا.
The fifth lesson we learn from this juz is faith, the source of blessings. In this verse, it has been mentioned to maintain prayers and give zakah. Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salam says, خصلتان ليس فوقهما شيء الإيمان بالله ونفع الإخوان. which means there are two special things which are better than any other special things. Number one, have faith and iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, spreading goodness and kindness to others.
أفرأيت الذي كفر بآياتنا وقال لأوتين مالا وولدا.
The sixth lesson we get from this juz is ultimate respect is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A mu'min knows that Allah is the only one who gives the respect and takes it too. So he doesn't rely on others for respect. The real essence of respect and status is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, if we do something and we are being respected by others, we should not be proud. Rather, we should do it with sincerity and ikhlas.
وألق ما في يمينك تلقف ما صنعوا إنما صنعوا كيد ساحر ولا يفلح الساحر حيث أتى.
The seventh lesson we get from this juz is to recognize your strength and use it wisely. Yes, a believer is clever enough to know and understand his talent, uses it appropriately, and is never unknown to it. Everyone has unique talent and one must use it properly and correctly in the right direction. Therefore, we understand that there should be awareness of inner abilities. Like Prophet Musa salamullah alayhi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Prophet Musa to throw what he has in his hand, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped him out. Therefore, we should know what our talents are, then rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and act upon the commands of Allah to get His pleasure and help.
قال يا هارون ما منعك إذ رأيتهم ضلوا.
The eighth lesson we learn from this juz is abstaining from causes of disunity. A believer avoids being the cause of conflicts and division in the society, even if his right is compromised to an extent in process of gaining unity. Therefore, we understand the importance of unity and we must stay united in order to get closeness and proximity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
فتعالى الله الملك الحق ولا تعجل بالقرآن من قبل أن يقضى إليك وحيه وقل رب زدني علما.
The ninth lesson we get from this juz is be in search of useful knowledge. There are different types of knowledge. We know the only useful knowledge is the one which makes a person successful both in this world and the hereafter. As we know that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray and used to say that, "Oh Allah, keep me away from the knowledge which is not useful for me." So this is a clear proof that all knowledges are not useful and one must refrain from it. Therefore, a mu'min searches for beneficial and useful knowledge, and the best knowledge is the knowledge which makes us get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
وأمر أهلك بالصلاة واصطبر عليها لا نسألك رزقا نحن نرزقك والعاقبة للتقوى.
The last lesson we get from this juz is to invite your household for prayers. That is to invite family members towards worship and prayers. A believer not only follows Islamic responsibilities himself, rather he encourages his family members as well. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to make children do their prayers at the age of 7. When they become 7, try to teach them and ask them to pray. And be strict at the age of 10. So we should try to make our children recite their prayers, do their prayers even before it becomes wajib on them. Those parents who tell their children after they become baligh to pray, of course at that time they can't force their children and their children will not have habit of praying. And we have seen that such parents go to scholars and then they ask that our children do not pray. So we have to teach our kids, our children to pray even before they become baligh, and we should try to take them to Masajid, Husayniya, Imam Barga and different places so they get acquainted with the Islamic culture. These were the 10 lessons. Inshallah, we'll come again with the next 10 lessons of the next juz. Till then, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن رحمن يا رحمن